Testing, testing.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started tonight. I'm Kyle, this is Nick, this is Laura. We're the Elections Commission. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to allow each candidate to give a 1 minute, 30-second intro statement. And then we have a few questions right here that from the Elections Commission we're going to ask, and then we're going to open it up to the audience. So the way we'll start is we'll just go down this line right here, and then each candidate will take turns going first. So Justin, you can start with your 1.5 minute opening intro statement. I'll let you know Laura's keeping time. When you have a 15-second warning, you'll see the yellow, and then the red means you're out of time. Go ahead.
How are y'all doing? My name is Justin Canakis, and I'm running for SA President. First off, I want to say, I am an outsider in the election, and I think it's time that the SA has an outsider voice. I often feel that there's a disconnect between the student government and the student body. I feel that the Student Assembly has not been representing the voices of all students. I'm a Monroe Scholar at the College of William & Mary, and one thing I'm most proud of is my research. I designed a very detailed experiment, and now I'm actually going to San Diego to present my research. And what I learned from my research is precision, diligence, and everything I need to run a well-oiled machine. I have the skills to do that. So a lack of SA experience doesn't mean I lack the skills to run the SA. What do I want from the SA? Well, I want a website. The SA has been lacking a functional website for too long. Surprisingly, the website was launched today. During election season, I feel that there's a lot of ulterior motives behind that, and it's purely political. But I'm glad the SA has launched a website. It's time. A website is the catalyst for success. We live in the internet revolution. So much good has been done via social media. You look at Egypt, etc. We can use social media to give everyone a voice. That's why I feel that our campaign represents everyone. We want to give everyone a voice through this medium, and we want to bridge the gap between student government and student body. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Eboni Brown, and I, along with Hannah McKernan, are running to be your next Student Assembly President and Vice President. I am a Government and Africana Studies double major here at the college from Hopewell, Virginia, and Hannah and I decided to work together and run together for the simple fact that we feel that we have what it takes to be advocates for you all, the students. We really want to make sure that your voices are heard and represented in Student Assembly, as well as making sure that any issues that you may have can be addressed in a timely fashion. Hannah and I both have the necessary experience and knowledge of the Student Assembly to work it effectively and get things done effectively. And we also have the passion to make William & Mary a better place. Our campaign circles and focuses on 3 words, those words being inclusion, advocacy, and collaboration, each of which we'll probably talk about throughout the debate. But more importantly, we just want to make sure that we're fighting to be advocates for you all, that we're fighting for the needs of the student body, and we're working for you all. This is not about a title for Hannah and I. This is about making sure that William & Mary will be better for not this year, not 1 year, not 2 years, but for the next 5, 10, 15 years down the road, that our alma mater can be what everyone wants it to be, and that we can make it more perfect in any and every way. So I just want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank the Elections Commission for making this possible, and we look forward to letting you all know how we can be advocates for you. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Katherine Ambrose. I'm a current junior, and Liz, Jacob, and I are running to be your SA President and Vice President. As a short little introduction, I would like to first focus on kind of our platform, because I think it speaks for itself. Liz and I were able to develop a comprehensive 6-pronged platform to be able to affect all different corners of campus. We developed this with the help of our core team, which was made up of 22 students who were in a variety of campus organizations and clubs. We also were able to work with administrators to make sure that every single point within our plan was something feasible, something implementable, and something that would bring about real and lasting change. We also want to take a passion and values-based approach because that's how we want to measure our success. I'm currently junior class president, but I'm also involved in the Office of Community Engagement, the Sharp Scholars Program, and the Haven. Liz is also involved in a number of sustainability initiatives on campus. And so going through our platform, we've developed, like I said, 6 prongs to be able to address a wide variety of issues. It involves things like academics, revitalization of the current SA structure, and a policy of open accountability within the administration. We also focus on student health and wellness, diversity and inclusion, and sustainability. Our platform truly does touch every single area of campus, which is something that Liz and I made one of our priorities when we first started campaigning. So I thank you all for being here. I thank my competitors up on this stage because we're all very qualified and commendable candidates. And I'm ready to get started with this debate.
So the way we're going to have this run is each candidate will get a minute, 30 seconds to answer questions, and then a 30-second rebuttal if they choose to take it. We have a few questions, and then, as I said, we're going to open it up to you in the audience. So our first question is, every question is for all the candidates, by the way. So our first one is, what would you each bring to the office of the president of SA in terms of your experience and background that differentiates you from your 2 opponents? Eboni, you can start.
What Hannah and I bring to the office of President and Vice President of Student Assembly is first and foremost experience. I have been in Student Assembly since freshman year, and in Student Assembly I've held a lot of different positions, making sure that I've been able to have a wide reach. Some of the positions I have held is the current Secretary of the Student Assembly, the Secretary of the Student Assembly, the Chair of the Chair of the Finance Committee, as well as Senate Historian. In all of those positions, I've learned the ins and outs of Student Assembly. I've learned what Student Assembly can do and what Student Assembly needs to improve upon. And Hannah and I both have the experience within Student Assembly. Hannah's also in Student Assembly as the Undersecretary of Public Affairs to Richmond, working with Richmond and William & Mary to make sure that we have a strong connection with the state capitol. And what we bring that differs us from our opponents, again, is experience. We know how SA works and how we can get things done. And more importantly, another thing that we bring is passion. Hannah and I are 2 of the most passionate students about William & Mary that you can find on this campus. And that's why I'm so blessed and so happy to have Hannah running with me, because she understands the needs that the students need, the needs of the student body, and understands what it takes to get things done. So experience, passion, and dedication to making sure that everything that we say we're going to do can be accomplished.
Well, Kyle, I think that question, I first want to start with why exactly Liz and I are running for SA President and Vice President. And I think it goes back to a very genuine love for this college and this community. We have both found a home here, both in our involvements on campus, but also in the people we've met, the professors we've interacted with, and just all of our different kinds of responsibilities on campus. And through this community that we found, we also have a desire to give back. To be able to give all different types of students the same opportunities and the same blessings that we've received. That being said, I think Liz and I both can most effectively give back to this community through a leadership position. We have a wide range of experiences across campus, and we also have a platform that is both comprehensive and bold, something that we definitely think that this campaign and this college community will be able to benefit from for years to come. The second part of my answer would fall under how we stand out from the other candidates in us all being definitely qualified for the position of SA President. But this past year in SA as junior class president, I was able to learn the ropes of Student Assembly. I was able to see how Senate meetings work, how committee meetings work, how exactly legislation is written. I was able to sponsor a number of bills and be able to definitely see how the system works. I was able to sponsor bills which I really found that I was passionate about, and with Liz and I's platform, this is something that every single approach that we have is something that we are passionate about.
Well, we're the outsider tickets. What does that mean? We're going to spice things up. We need a little bit of flavor in the essay. The essay has been stale. It's been a piece of bread, no flavor. What are we going to do to bring flavor? We're going to bring energy and excitement into the essay. There's something in science called electronegativity, the ability to attract electrons. Well, the essay has a very low level of electronegativity. It doesn't attract students. Students don't want to say, hey, what's the essay doing? AJ and I will be the fluoride of the periodic table. We will have so much electronegativity. We will attract so many students. The essay is extremely inclusive now. Students don't have a voice. We need students to say, hey, we feel this issue, this issue, this issue. Students have the right to know what the essay is doing. We need transparency. So, you say, we don't run Senate meetings, etc., etc. Well, how do we get the skills? Like I said, I'm a Monroe scholar, and my research is extremely detailed. I have thousands of numbers of data sets. I analyze, I do all kinds of things. Diligence is something that I'm very proud of. AJ is very well established in the business school. He can work with the $700,000 budget we have. $700,000 is a lot of money. I feel the students have the right to know where the $700,000 should go, where that money should be allocated. The SA needs a new voice, something spicy. We're sriracha. We're gonna make that piece of bread taste real good now. Thank you.
All right, the next one, we'll start off with Katherine. You guys are all running on a lot of different things, with a lot of things in your platform. So I'd like to know, going fast forward to this time next year, what would be the #1 thing, if you're elected, that you would have hoped to accomplish by this time next year?
Well, Kyle, we actually got that question in a lot of the different groups and organizations that we were able to visit throughout this entire campaign period. And after some reflection, Liz and I were both able to offer our own answers. We wanted to focus on being able to change the college's mission statement, because we believe that that coding and that language is something that's going to be able to affect our entire college community. It's something that we are founded on, and it's something that we want to be able to make sure that every single student on this campus can resonate with. We also would like to change the current essay structure, and I know that a lot of students on this campus might not understand how exactly essay works. They might not understand our day-to-day, our week-to-week, and all the different responsibilities that we have. We'd like to be able to revitalize that current structure. We think that's so important that we've actually made it a prong of our entire platform. We would like to be able to see a greater, and I don't want to keep using the buzzword of transparency, because I don't think a lot of people really, when we hear it, we don't always know what it means. But it's something that we definitely see as critical, and it's something that is going to be able to affect all different groups on campus, and definitely amplify and publicize and market the really great work that student leaders here are already doing every day.
We're going to make a website within the first 2 weeks. My question for the SA candidates who have SA experience: why has the SA taken a year to create a website? And when they launched that website, why has it been during election season? I often feel that the SA is only trying to get purely elected and keep their rank. We're trying to put a wrench into the system. We're going to say, hey, we're going to make a promise, and we're going to get it done right away. Not a year later. We're going to get it done in 2 weeks, and it's going to be fully interactive. I don't know if you guys have checked the website out, but it's bland. We need it to be interactive. We want students to use it. We want it to be a medium for students to say, hey, this is our central location. We need a centralized hub, and the website will do that. So what are we going to do? We're going to make a website. What is that website going to do? Well, I want the website to serve as a tool to give every student a voice. So AJ and I want to create a school-wide philanthropy event. How are we going to decide that? AJ and I are not going to decide that. The students are going to decide that. Through the website, we're going to say, hey, every organization, you can have a voice. You campaign on the website, we'll do that philanthropy event. The school will decide, every student will have an equal voice. So the website is fundamentally important, and we will get it done, not during election season, but right away.
All right, to answer the question of any year from now, what's something that we want to be proud of that we accomplished, Hannah and I would love to be proud of accomplishing many different things, but in particular, the things that we have listed under our inclusion platform. We want to help make William & Mary a more inclusive environment, and let people know, let students know that from the first day they walk on this campus, that they belong here and that they will thrive here. A couple of ways that we can do that is by expanding the current I Am William & Mary week. It's a really great week that embraces and celebrates diversity, but we want to see that every month, having a different event every single month, touching on a different form of diversity. So 1 month we might have a speaker come in and talk about disability services. The next month we might have someone come in and have a panel discussion on what it's like to be a first generation college student. all of these different forms of diversity that we do not reach out to currently at Student Assembly, we want to do a better job of reaching out to them and making sure that their voices are heard. Another aspect under this umbrella would be continuing the efforts to gender neutral facilities. That's been a very strong push this year, more than any other year I've been here, and we want to continue that. Our entire diversity platform was designed with the help of the CSD, and Dr. Hurt ensured us that we can continue the gender neutral facilities and making sure that buildings to come that are built on this campus have gender neutral facilities for students to use. And last but certainly not least, making sure that we can get more diverse faculty in William & Mary. Now, Hannah and I can't go out and hire these faculty, but what we can do is fight for those faculty and fight to get the faculty that we currently have inclusivity training so that they can make the most inclusive classroom environment possible.
Does anyone want to have their 30-second rebuttal? All right.
Could I, are you just saying to respond to
Yeah, to
anyone on the
respond,
stage?
yeah.
Okay, I would just like to say to Justin that when you were first talking about not only the creation of a website, but also the creation of a campus-wide philanthropy event, actually, if you all were looking at Liz and I's Facebook page recently, we actually launched a mock website for the essay. It was launched on Thursday, and it was something that included a variety of different contacts there. It was something that we took on to kind of just display that this was our commitment to the office of the Student Assembly President. It's something that still includes a comments section for people to be able to offer their own opinions and their own tips on anything that we could possibly improve. But an essay website, besides the one that was already launched today, which does have a comprehensive list of contacts and of minutes and agendas, it's already been done. As far as the campus-wide philanthropy event, we actually did have one this fall as sponsored by the Student Assembly. It was called the Tribe Turkey Drive, and it was something that was an essay day of service for all of the current Student Assembly members.
Okay, I have 2 points.
You'll get one.
Okay.
I have a point, huh?
Okay, if you want to go, you can gladly go, but yeah, okay. So, yes, Liz, I actually screenshotted the website you put up. If you guys want to look at it, you can. It says wm/sa.org, brought to you by Katherine and Liz. What is that an example of? That's an example of self-promotion under the name of the SA. You're using your position in the SA to say, hey, we're doing this as the SA. You're doing it during election season. I don't want to falsely advertise on the SA name, or I would have bought the domain wm/sa.org and said, hey, I made a William & Mary website as well. And regarding the philanthropy event, yes, I was unaware of that, and I feel that not enough students were aware of that, and students should have a say in what that philanthropy event should be.
In regards to the website that was launched today, I think it's a very important first step in order to, as we've been saying over and over again, to increase the transparency, to get people to understand what we're doing, to kind of talk about why it took so long. In this sense now, it doesn't matter. We have to look forward to the future. We have to look forward to what we have to come. We now have a functional website. We now can work as a Student Assembly extremely hard to make sure that website has all of the things that it needs and to make sure that it's sustainable. It's one thing to go out and to buy a domain name and have that as a website, but the issue with that is the credentials don't turn over. You have to pay for it every single year. This website that was launched today is sustainable, and it's something that Hannah and I would look forward to working with and improving upon if we were elected Student Assembly President and Vice President.
Eboni already touched on this a little bit, and when it's your turn, you feel free to add to it, but I'm going to start with Justin here. The next question is, how do you plan on improving the value of diversity on campus and making William & Mary a place where all types of people feel welcomed and accepted?
Absolutely. So regarding diversity, I think the best way to give every single student a voice is by giving them a voice through the website, choosing that philanthropy event. But I also feel that something that we overlook on campus is the idea of diversity of thought. And what that really means is we have to be tolerant of every single person's ideas and not chastise them for having a different opinion. I believe President Obama even spoke about this, that college campuses are often too hypersensitive and that they don't agree with someone and they don't want them to speak here because I feel like to be tolerant to different ideas, and that's the first step towards diversity, because ideas and movements comes from an idea, and once we tolerate open ideas, we can have an open conversation, have an open dialogue, and then we can work things out. So that's my answer for that.
inclusion and diversity is a huge part of Hannah's and our campaign. Basically because of my experience with diversity here on campus. I come from a small town named Hopewell, Virginia, and to be honest with you all, I shouldn't be here right now. Many of the students that I went to high school with and I graduated with, unfortunately are not in college, some are incarcerated, and unfortunately some of them are dead. So to be in the position that I am now is a blessing in itself. And coming to William & Mary, I felt underprepared for what William & Mary life was like. And I even had some doubts within myself as whether or not I belonged here. Being in the class and not wanting to answer a question wrong, because if I did, what does that say about me? But what does that say about my entire race? What does that say about my family? So diversity is something that hits home for me, extremely hard. And the ways that we can continue to do that is make one tribe with many perspectives. Because originally, one tribe, one family did not ring true to me. So what we want to do is continue to make William & Mary more inclusive. Ways that we can do that is continuing to reach out to many of the underrepresented groups on campus, in particular students with disabilities, and working with student accessibility services to get those students the help that they need. Whether that be creating tables and swim that are more accessible for them near the entrances, or just working with them to see what they need for mobility issues around campus. We need to fight for the students that do not have a voice, and that is what Hannah and I are all about, being advocates for you all.
Nick, I think that diversity and inclusion is something that really has become a key component on all of our platforms. It's something that is not only crucial to the William & Mary College experience, but it's something that we definitely have so much room for improvement on. And a lot of people don't even really know exactly what diversity means or what diversity and inclusion translates to. And you'll get a lot of different opinions on this, but to Liz and I, diversity truly means identity. And it means possibly the beliefs that someone could have, the life experiences, the groups that they consider to themselves to be a part of. Diversity and inclusion is something that's critical to the liberal arts education, because it's something that we are going to be learning here during our 4 years, and it's something we're going to take with us for the rest of our lives. William & Mary has a lot of work to be able to do, and Liz and I realize this, and this is why we've created an entire platform prong based on diversity and inclusion, and trying to further the multitude of identities that we currently find here at the college. We'd like to be able to, like I said, redesign the college's mission statement. We like to see proactive town hall discussions for diversity and inclusion issues here. We'd also like to be able to see a diversity when it comes to statutes here on campus, because I believe the college at times tends to recognize one type of success or one type of graduate or one type of person. That's something that we can definitely change and have a broader definition of authentic excellence and what it means to be a diverse and inclusive, a respectful community. Lastly, I think that SA is definitely a great place to start here and be able to have SA as a promotion for diversity.
Okay, on to our next question. It's been touched on. Any rebuttal from you guys? Okay. It's been touched on a little bit, but I want to know specifically how you plan on increasing SA's transparency so the student body has a better idea of what SA is doing with their time and budget. Sorry.
Some of the things that we want to do to increase transparency have already been started. We've already talked about the website in detail, so I don't feel the need to continue to hammer that in. But some of the things that Student Assembly can do a better job of is making sure that we're approachable and that we're visible within the campus community. That means putting ourselves out there. A resolution that passed this year by Senator O'Day, SA 75, is getting more Student Assembly members into club and organization meetings so that students have a point of contact within those meetings to contact us and get to know us. I think it definitely will take strides in making sure that we're approachable, that we can be seen on campus, whether that be office hours on the terrace, whether that's through the website, through comment sections, just making sure that we're working to be the advocates that we all signed up to be. One of the things that me and Hannah like to say is SA, we're all ears, making sure that students know that they can come to us with any sort of issue, with any sort of questions, and that we can be there to answer them and be the advocates that they truly deserve.
I'm actually incredibly glad that Senator Brown brought up the SA 75 Act, because this was something that Senator O'Day and I actually co-sponsored, and it's something that is able to get SA to have a larger reach on campus by being involved and being liaisons, being points of contact for all different groups. And it charges the SA to be the ones to take that initiative as your elected representatives. And it's something that we both found to be definitely a priority within the SA, something that we're currently lacking. In our entire SA revitalization prong and being able to create a policy of open accountability, we would like to see not only the website, which we've touched on and which we have made a mock website of, but we'd also like to be able to see student representatives have a greater reach on campus, being able to be contacts for all types of students, being open, and having students feel like they can always come to them. If this involves greater participation by the general public at weekly SA meetings, if it involves publication of the committee meetings on Sundays, possibly even changing the location, seeing your SA representatives as middle people and liaisons, but also your peers and people that you can go to and feel confident in with just simple ideas, but also wide plans for the success of the school.
Okay, transparency. It's one of the reasons AJ and I are running. The SA has a budget of $700,000. That's a lot of money, and a lot of good can be done with $700,000. We want to be transparent with that money for you all. This is our money. It's not the SA's money. This is our money. So I want to put, AJ and I want to have monthly town hall meetings. We want to publish the financial reports. We have the right to know where this money goes. How are we going to do it? It's all going to be available on the website. Eboni, you mentioned that we've talked about the website enough. We have not talked about the website enough. If you go on the website right now, it's lacking. It's not very interactive. It's boring. We need a website that's fun. We need a website where you can easily navigate it. I think that is crucial. So transparency is something that SA lacks and it needs. We need to have, the students have the right to know where their money's going. The students have the right to know what the senators are voting on is very accessible. Not only transparency, but accessibility. I don't want to go, stumble around Google and find something. I want to find one click. One click and you'll get it done. I promise it'll happen.
Anyone want to take a rebuttal on that? Okay. Next question, we'll start with Katherine. What would you do to improve the relationship the college has with the city of Williamsburg?
Absolutely, Kyle. So I think that the city of Williamsburg and William & Mary currently don't have the relationship that we would need for success for both groups. This is something that the SA can definitely be able to take on. We currently have a student running for the City Council of Williamsburg, but the student involvement in all of the different matters that the city takes on is severely lacking. That's something that we would like to be able to change, to have more continuous conversation. There's a lot of students who are living off campus who have to be able to work with the city's own regulations, and the SA doesn't currently have that communication going. That would probably fall under our prong of being able to not only revitalize the student assembly, but also go into a policy of open accountability and being able to have students charge the SA with speaking on their behalf, becoming advocates, and talking to the city legislators. I would also even like to be able to see William & Mary have a greater level of communication with legislators in Richmond. I was actually the head organizer for the 2016 Road to Richmond event, and that was when we actually were able to get students to come to the state capitol and lobby lawmakers on behalf of different student issues, different student passions, and we really did receive a fantastic response. So I would absolutely stress being able to have greater communication within Williamsburg, but why stop there? Let's think bigger.
Okay, so AJ and I actually met with Benny. Shout out to Benny, you're the man. And we talked to Benny, and he told us a lot of good ideas. But first, I want to talk about why community engagement is so big for AJ and I. Well, if you look at the cell cannot survive merely just on what's inside of it. It has to interact with the environment. You have to be cohesive. You have to respond to things. You can't just sit there in a bubble. A bubble is not healthy. We need to interact with the city of Williamsburg. How are we going to do that? Well, the students represent 43% of the population of Williamsburg. We should have a political voice. That's why I support Benny's cause so much. The students should say, hey, we need a voice, but how are we going to get this voice? We can't just demand it because we represent such a large number of the population. We have to work with the city of Williamsburg. So in part of that philanthropy event, we're going to say, hey, what can we do to better the city of Williamsburg? We can get a broader look outside of with greater needs besides the college. We have to respond to stimuli from the environment. We can't stay in this bubble. So for example, one thing I would love to fix is, okay, do you guys know the road outside of the gym when you're turning on Monticello that needs a red light? Thumbs up, you get that? We need a red light. We need a red light so badly. That's a hazard. And I feel, like Benny even said, that's in the works. But what can the students do to say, we want that? Well, on our website, we're going to have a petition where you can sign these things and be aware of the legislation outside of just Williamsburg.
As Student Assembly President and Vice President, Hannah and I would work to create a greater relationship with the City of Williamsburg and appreciate them for all that they do for us. The City of Williamsburg works extremely hard for us. It's literally every single day that you see a fire truck on campus from a fire alarm, or you see EMS helping out one of our students that may be sick. So we need to make sure, first and foremost, that we appreciate all that they have done for us and making sure that they understand that appreciation. We can also work to make sure that our voices are heard on important issues such as parking. I actually went to a meeting this past semester talking to the city planner about parking issues and things that we can do to help improve parking for all student campus, for all campus students, and just making sure that our voices are heard. And as candidate Ambrose spoke, we should go even further than Richmond, but let's go even further to DC. We also have a Washington DC office, and I participated in numerous amounts of their programs, so we need to make sure that we have a greater connection with them, making sure that students on campus understand what they can get from the DC office, making sure they know about the programs and know about the opportunities that they can get through the William & Mary DC office, and just making sure that we're not only working to make our relationship with the city of Williamsburg better, but with all alumni all across the globe. So, thank you.
All right, we're going to open it up to the audience now, so if you want to ask a question, Nick will pass you the microphone.
Real quick, can you talk a little bit about the nature of the questions that audience members can ask?
Go right ahead.
My question was for Katherine specifically, but all of you are free to answer. I was curious why you chose your running mate, Liz Jacob, and what experience you thought she could add to your ticket.
Well, I think that when Liz and I first met, it was during freshman orientation training, and we were both brought together, we like to say, by a love for the college and a love to be able to give back to that community by serving as orientation aides. I honestly immediately was struck by her ability as a leader and her ability that wasn't necessarily a leadership style that was always the first person to raise her hand or always the first person to make a point in a discussion. But she was thoughtful, she was candid, but she also was able to bring everyone's voices together and summarize it in a very respectful way. I truly admire all of her different commitments and leadership positions and involvements across campus. She's been involved in HOPE, numerous sustainability issues, as well as a couple different academic boards. I believe that her connections are something that the Student Assembly would absolutely benefit from, and something that currently that is another piece of revitalizing the current Student Assembly that we are lacking. And I consider her not to be simply a vice president, but someone who is a friend and an equal.
Okay, first off, Liz, you mentioned that you want to revitalize the Student Assembly that we are currently lacking. But yet, you guys are in the Student Assembly and you have a voice. AJ and I want to shock the whole system. So, how do I know AJ? AJ is one of my best friends. We're running in this together. We're not, trying to strategically get votes. AJ and I can work together, and we have good chemistry. I'm a chemistry guy, he's the business guy. This guy's gonna get our $700,000 and do a phenomenal job with $700,000. AJ is involved in many clubs in the business school. He's the president of my fraternity, and AJ is a phenomenal leader. And AJ and I can work together. We have phenomenal chemistry, and we're pretty funny guys, and that's about it. We are gonna make a great team. We're gonna make a great team. I promise it. Teamwork comes off just the fundamental relationship you have together. AJ and I will work together, and we're gonna get things done. We're gonna get things done.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm ready. I first met Hannah last year, around this time, when she was being appointed for her position in Student Assembly. And without even knowing her for more than 5 seconds, I instantly knew something special was going on with her. I served with her this year. She's one of my Yates mates on Yates OA Hall, and we had a really great time making sure that the students understood what William & Mary was like, and I saw her dedication to her students in those short 5 days. I saw how much she cared about each and every single one of them. I instantly knew that Hannah was going to be someone that I would not only call my running mate, I would call my friend, I would call my sister, someone who has just been there for me through thick and thin. Throughout this entire process, Hannah is so dedicated to William & Mary. She will put William & Mary and her passion for it above her own health. Hannah was sick this past Sunday, and she was still trying to beg us to let her go to meetings to talk to people because she cares so much about William & Mary. She's involved in APO in her service fraternity. She's involved in Young Democrats and other political advocacy groups. She is dedicated to William & Mary, and I've never seen a passion like hers. And I knew instantly that she was the person that I wanted to do this entire thing with, and if I could do it all over again, I would choose no one other than you, Hannah.
Oh, I want to make a quick fact correction. My name is Katherine, not Liz.
My bad.
Any other audience questions?
So this kind of goes off of a question which you all kind of talked about, but I had, I guess, further questions on it. I know a lot of you have, I guess, a sort of commitment or platform for diversity, but one thing that I noticed is that people just kind of say that during their elections. What I want to know is, what experience do you have of working with diversity organizations on campus or with the Center for Student Diversity, whether that's actually being a part of that organization or working with them in the past? And also, can you mention maybe a few more things that you guys are interested in doing in relation to diversity? Because I think I only heard about one from all of you.
Well, AJ and I want to give every single student an equal voice on campus. And while I don't have experience in certain clubs, I feel that we want to have so here's my vision with the website. I keep talking about the website. On this website, we're going to have an option in which students can lobby the philanthropy event they want to host. And we're going to have an open voting throughout the school. So what does that do? That gives every single student a voice. It gives diversity of thought. Every single student's going to say, if this is big, you can advertise your campaign and you can give your organization a voice. So every single club is equal in the eyes of our campaign, and the philanthropy event, students voting for the philanthropy event, I feel is one of the greatest forms of diversity because it's a completely equal level field. Everyone has the same voice and everyone has the same potential we can all select something together.
To address your question about diversity, some of the things that I've been involved in and Hannah has been involved in, our entire platform was crafted with the help of Dr. Hurt, who is in charge of CSD. I've also been involved with CSD before even coming to William & Mary. I was a participant in Plus, which is a one-week program that really gives students of color a chance to learn William & Mary and navigate before we step foot on campus for our first class. I'm also a member of the NAACP and Essence Women of Color, where we work very hard to make sure that issues targeting minority women in general can be addressed and what we can do on campus to make those relations better. And also my experience as an orientation area director, one of the biggest things that I've been pushing for this year is diversity and getting more students interested in becoming orientation aides so that students, when they come in, can see more people that look like them in leadership roles from day one. And I'm also a multicultural recruitment intern for the Office of Undergraduate Admissions. So my entire job is to get more students of color interested in even applying to William & Mary. So those are some of the experiences that we have. Also, as a senator, I've helped sponsor 12 of the past 25 bills this session. One of those bills being I Am William & Mary Week Act Part 2, which actually provides all of the funding for I Am William & Mary Week, which is coming up. It's going to be an amazing week. But all the bills that I put forward are bills that I'm passionate about, and diversity is one of the things that is near and dear to my heart. So those are just a few of the things that Hannah and I have done, and just continue to foster a greater relationship between the Student Assembly and the CSD, and all of the other initiatives that we talked about will help to bring diversity on the forefront here at William & Mary and make a more inclusive William & Mary.
So I completely agree with you when you say that diversity can be a very big buzzword in campaigns. And I would say that the college, although I would recognize a diversity of thought, the college is currently severely lacking recognition and appreciation of diversity in its other forms on campus. I did mention in some of our different kind of diversity platform prong points, we were wanting to look at being able to have a greater statute diversity on campus, a greater redesign of the college's mission statement to include a rich multitude of identities that we currently recognize or are not doing the best job of recognizing and would like to in the future. As far as the Center for Student Diversity, when Liz and I were crafting our core team, that was definitely one of the biggest campus organizations that we wanted input from, that we wanted involvement from, and being able to have their kind of policies integrated in our approach to go out into campus. Under the current SA revitalization prong, we'd like to be able to have all members of SA trained in a safe zone-esque kind of training program to be able to have Student Assembly people serve as advocates not only for bills and legislation, but advocates on campus for all the different types of initiatives and the recognition of this diversity. Like I said, I think that diversity and inclusion is something that is critical to the liberal arts experience and critical to our 4 years here. And this is the time that we should be understanding, recognizing, representing, and celebrating all the different types that we have here at the college.
How's it going? First of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you, all very impressive candidates, so thank you for pushing kind of the conversation forward here. So thank you for that. Now my question is specifically for Ms. Ambrose. However, please, if you guys would like to elaborate on this question, please feel free to do so. So last week in the Flat Hat, there was a big article, front page, above the fold, talking about, well, essentially criticizing the Student Assembly. And one statistic that was kind of alarming for me, because you do present a lot of very impressive and optimistic, innovative initiatives for the college, which if realized would be wonderful. But they had a graph, and it kind of was a little alarming to me that over the past year, you only spoke 14 times and sponsored 4 bills total over the entire course of the year. This is a little alarming for me, just because I think that a lot of the discussion here was kind of about moving forward and being active, engaging leaders. And I was wondering if you could kind of address those numbers, because I think they're a little alarming to a lot of potential voters.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I did read the article that the Flat Hat had recently put out. I would first kind of like to draw the distinction between the Senate conversations and the positions that people have as senators within the Senate and those who hold the position of class president. It does come with a list of different duties, different responsibilities. I serve as the spokesperson for the class of 2017, and I did sponsor at least four pieces of legislation within this Senate timeline. Everything that I did sponsor within the Student Assembly is something that I am incredibly passionate about. I was able to learn more about the bills that I was going to be putting my name on. I was able to talk to different administrators and be able to pull certain projects together. I like to say that it's more quality over quantity, and it's something that I definitely set out to do in SA. As it was my first year in the Student Assembly, I obviously did not want to overstep anything. I understand that when I first came in as Student Assembly President, or as class president, it was something that I didn't know everything. It's a learning opportunity. It's something that I wanted to be able to learn the ropes and get to know the system. That being said, I think that by the end of this year, absolutely, I know how the system works. I obviously don't know each of the different policies, but it's something that our core team has been working really, really hard to try and get the Senate and restructure it in a way that I have identified certain weaknesses of the current structure and being able to make it more transparent and bold for the student body.
I could speak a little bit to that question. I've been in Senate for the past 2 years. I was an undergrad my first year as a freshman here. And this past year alone, I have been one of the most active senators within the Senate, and not just my class, but the entire Senate as a whole. And to address that question, I think personally, the role of a senator is to not only be advocates for the students, not only fight for what students need, but also to produce legislation that will be effective and that can get those things done. And personally, I sponsored the past 12 of the 25 bills that were passed this year. One of those that's near and dear to my heart as well is the STI Subsidization Act, the Student Health Act 3.0. And you can see all of my bills on our website, actually with all in detail. But that bill continues our efforts to subsidize STI tests at the health center, adding the herpes test now to our arsenal of tests that we add, and all of our tests are currently under $20 as a result of this bill. So just speaking a little bit on my experience within the Student Assembly and the positions that are there. I was also a student historian, so I worked with the code and the Constitution, making sure that it was gender neutral, making sure that new things were added and detracted, and making sure that it was in the best state possible. And just my experience and my passion for Student Assembly can go beyond words in a sense. I'm very passionate about what I do and what my job is. And whether my position was class president, whether my position is senator, we all have a responsibility to speak within the Senate, make sure that the bills that are coming through are thorough, and make sure that we're working hard to have an impact here on this campus.
Yeah, I just want to say, Eboni, I really admire how active you are and how conclusively you do your job. But let's look at it like this: the SA is slow in fulfilling its promises. We were promised a website last year, and we got it today. So we look at all these all wonderful ideas. Every candidate has phenomenal ideas, and everyone's got some. We all have the best interest in the college in mind. But what I want to say is we need to work efficiently and in a manner that we get these things done in a timely fashion. I think it's unacceptable that the SA has waited this long to establish a website, and it's this poorly done. I mean, they couldn't even come up with their own words. For example, on the website it says, they want to strengthen the connection between student body and student government. It's oddly familiar to AJ and I's slogan, we want to bridge the gap between student government and student body. So we can't help but point that out. The SA needs to work fastly. And while I don't have any SA experience, I'll get the job done. I promise you that.
So, go ahead.
So you all painted in broad strokes before about improving relationships with Williamsburg in general. Can you touch on one specific thing you'll do to help advocate for student issues off campus, such as the 3-person rule affecting expensive housing or causing invasions of privacy into people's lives?
Well, yeah, I think that the SA. The SA needs. We need to first, before we demand, we need to establish a healthy relationship with the city of Williamsburg. That is the absolute first thing we need to do. So through this philanthropy event that we will decide as a school, we will be able to, it will serve as a stepping stone to saying, hey, city of Williamsburg, the college we want to work together. We can't just demand, because that's not a healthy relationship. But I do think that we need to work with the available resources we have. My neighbor Benny is a phenomenal organization, and I think that can serve as a tool to getting us within the roots of policy making within the city of Williamsburg. So we can't get it done, this is a long-term issue, and the first thing that it depends upon is establishing a healthy relationship with the city of Williamsburg.
And to build off of that point, I know I spoke a little bit about first we have to, appreciate Williamsburg, the city of Williamsburg for all that they do for us. Another way that we can continue to do that is just making sure that we are active in the community and that we have a voice within the community, whether that means meeting with legislators, meeting with city officials to get those things done. That's something that we need to do, and also making sure that we can have more student representation. So I know we talked about Benny. We also have a senator that sits on one of the seats within city council, maybe not city council, but one of the subcommittees. But just making sure that we're getting more student representation within the city of Williamsburg, and also working with them on issues that affect many students. So I am someone who lives off campus, and parking is a nightmare for me. Whether it's trying to find a spot in Sadler's lot, whether it's trying to find a spot in the parking lot, it's a complete nightmare. So I went and had a meeting with the city manager discussing new plans for parking, discussing plans that would eliminate spots, and they would hear our input on what we felt and how we felt that we needed to have even more spots so that students can park, especially commuter students who come to class and then head back home. So making sure that we're working to improve parking within the city of Williamsburg, and making sure that our voices are heard in more than just one way, more than just meeting with people, but making sure that they understand that we are here. We make up 43% of the city, and we have to make sure that they understand our needs as citizens of the city of Williamsburg, whether it be for 1 year or the next 4 years.
The town and gown dynamic is incredibly interesting that we currently have here in Williamsburg. And to go along with the other candidates on the stage, the opening of channels of communication is something that is vital here. None of us want to be able to make promises that the three-person rule will ever be abolished without actually being able to have that conversation, have that collaboration with the city officials. Under our open accountability platform prong, Liz and I had designated the chance to be able to have proactive town hall meetings, inviting in city officials, being able to have all different kinds of students come and be able to voice their concerns to these adults in the community. Williamsburg is an interesting kind of town as far as parking, as far as living. I too live off campus. I understand the different kind of regulations that go along with living in a house with friends. And we understand that the parking situation here at the college is something that many students do have concerns about. That's something that we absolutely want to be able to have each student have a voice to be able to talk to, whether it be the college administration, whether it be the city officials, or whether it be law enforcement around our community.
Hi, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for taking your time out of your day to do this. My name is Rachel. I'm a freshman here at the college, and Catherine, I know you touched that you were part of the Haven, but I was wondering, how would you, as SA presidents, address the issues of sexual assault on our campus? And I'm not sure how a website would be able to do that.
Yeah, I would gladly like to start on that. Well, I actually, I'm open to students' ideas. And I had a student come email me, and she said, hey, I think you need to do a better job addressing the sexual assault issue. So I said, hey, let's talk and let's meet up and help me draft the platform. I can't do everything by myself. So what we decided to do is we sat down, and she told me some of the issues that is facing some of the issues. And so, for example, I believe there's an app, I'm not sure on the name of it, but you can actually FaceTime on your walk home with a police officer to make sure you get home safely. And that is a phenomenal idea. But one of the things the student told me was she's often intimidated by going through the police, because it can often result, just working with the police can kind of be scary. So once again, improving relationship with police officers is crucial. But we drafted an app, and this app would be a student assembly run organization in which, instead of a police officer, you're going to be speaking with a student. We're one tribe, one family, and having a student's face on the other end is comforting to a lot of people. So that would be an app that would be prioritized. And I feel that would be a great way to address the sexual assault issue in a realistic approach.
Sexual sexual assault is an extremely important issue to Hannah and I. It actually falls under our advocacy portion of our campaign. And some of the things that we want to do first and foremost is start to give the survivors the autonomy to choose the best plan of action for them. And a way that we can do that is by working with Title 1693 and all of their efforts within the sexual assault realm. One of the things that they really want to implement is the Callisto reporting tool, which allows a survivor to submit the report, and only if that report has matching other reports. So if someone put in some other reports about another person that's like a perpetual perpetrator, then that report will be submitted. So that gives the autonomy to the survivors to take the course of action that feels best for them. And also working with City Council, James City County, and the General Assembly to get a PERT kit and a same nurse, within the Williamsburg area. We currently don't have one. Currently, if you're sexually assaulted, you would get that done in Newport News. There is a mobile unit within Williamsburg, but it's not here 24/7. So what we want to do is work to see what we can do on that front, to see how we can get that issue addressed, and to get the students the things that they need in regards to sexual assault. So by working with groups on campus that already exist, by working to get this new Callisto reporting system implemented, we want to make sure that we can address sexual assault and create a pervasive language that sexual assault is not tolerated on this campus by any means.
Rachel, I would want to first echo some of what the other candidates have said about how addressing sexual assault is a huge priority for every single candidate in this race. My personal involvement with the Haven is definitely something that has shaped Liz and I's platform. And we've also tried to get members of our core team involved from all different areas who are still passionate about fighting sexual assault. When Liz and I actually went to the 1693 meeting just this past week, we were able to get input on our policies and on our platform, while also being able to listen to some of the different viewpoints that that group had. As far as certain policies that we would want to take addressing sexual violence and sexual assault, Liz and I have that falling under our student health and wellness platform. We would like first to be able to mandate training for all different sort of student organizations who will receive funding from the Student Assembly. We'd like to have at least 2 people in each organization trained to be resources and informational resources for their different group members. We'd also like to be able to extend that training to the faculty. So having faculty and administrators feel like they can be resources as well as professors to their students, and being able to distribute that information in a more cohesive way, possibly at faculty assembly meetings. And then lastly, we'd like to be able to expand on the current services that are offered by the Student Health Center. And so being able to look at the possibility of having a SANE nurse here on campus, possibly through the Road to Richmond event. Otherwise, we'd also be able to offer free transportation to students who do need to have PERT examinations done in the surrounding area through the Tribe Rides program and through other means.
Hey guys,
Time for like 1 or 2 more questions.
That's not for me.
Go ahead.
Okay, sweet. My question is how much did you guys actually communicate with campus organizations without undermining the work they're already doing? Because a lot of your platforms are based on work that people and organizations are already doing steadfastly. Like I know Ms. Ambrose, yours is to redefine the mission statement, and if you could have just met with people, you would already know there's task forces working on redefining the mission statement. So I don't know how you would possibly do that if we already get it fulfilled. Or with working diversity initiatives and expanding certain weeks. I know Marone, Secretary of Diversity, has been working very hard in those aspects. So how did you guys come up with your campaigns and meeting with people, but also undermining the work they're already doing?
When you start with that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're running against the clock. Have like a minute response now.
Okay. So as far as the redesignation of the college's mission statement, Liz and I actually did, in our very beginning stages of planning, reach out to students who were already doing work with this initiative. So we reached out to people like Ryan Goss, people like Yoser, and different administrators who had already had students suggest this idea to them and be able to expand on their work. A huge component of what Liz and I are standing on and passionate about and fighting for is being able to amplify the current student voices that are already doing great work. There is no need for the Student Assembly to be able to speak over people. All that we want to do really is glorify the work that students are doing and be able to take it to new heights. We would like to honestly involve so many students in different organizations and causes that they're passionate about, and use the student assembly as a tool for marketing and publicity of their work, rather than creating new opportunities or creating a larger split on campus.
Well, AJ and I's whole premise is we want to be molded by the student body. We want the students to help us craft everything. So, in regards to that, your question, I feel that there's simply not enough, there's not the resources to see what other clubs are doing. And through a website, every club will have a mission statement and give updates on what they're doing. And that way, students will be able to see what's available. I feel like there's a lack of accessibility. So, for example, there was a sit-in regarding mental health. First off, I want to say we have not addressed mental health enough. Mental health is something that we need to prioritize in all 3 of our campaigns. But so with the sit-in, people were saying how they were demanding how schools should do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But unbeknownst to them, those resources were already available to them. So we have to show people what's available to them in a transparent manner through the online interface. And that will be a way to give every student organization a way to share their opinion with us, to help me and AJ craft, to represent the student body. We're going to bridge the gap between student government and student body.
What Hannah and I want to do is not reinvent the wheel. We want to work with what we currently have to maximize the efforts of clubs and organizations. When we were crafting our priorities in our campaign, we worked with Dr. Hurd, as I said before, we worked with other organizations to see what was going on. And currently, I have been in communication with Marone on I Am William Mary Week. I actually helped her with the funding and the financing of that. And that would be a relationship that we would hope to continue if we want to expand I Am William Mary Week. I don't think Hannah and I want to come in thinking that we know everything, because we don't. We want to definitely make sure that we're working, collaborating with groups on campus to get things done. This isn't about us, this isn't about student assembly necessarily dictating what has to happen. It's about student assembly being responsive to the students and being the collaborators with the students and making sure that we're working with them to get things done. It doesn't have to be sponsored by SA, it doesn't have to be student assembly this, it needs to be William and Mary things that are getting done by the students.
Just a quick thing, this is not a question, but a comment I wanted to make, because we have a lot of campus leaders here in the room, and I don't think people are aware of it as much as they should be. There's an app called Rave, it's spelled R-A-V-E. You guys have all gotten campus-wide emails about it in the past. It has a lot of functions for if you're, say, traveling home by yourself, and you want your friends to track where you're at, or if you want people to check in every set amount of time, and if not, you can have a default to call friends or the police. So just so that's available, and let your friends know too. I think that's something that's not publicized enough.
I think this will be our last question.
All right, this question is for Katherine, and thanks again all of you for taking your time to come talk to us. So much of your campaign was based off the fact that you and Liz made a website, which isn't even fully functional yet. But you're in SA now, so you must have already known that SA was working on a website before you started making your own. So my question is basically, why did you make and advertise your own website, which isn't even functional, instead of focusing your time on improving the website SA was already working on?
Good question. And so I would first kind of want to contest the fact that Liz and I are running based on the fact that we've created a website. Our platform is 7 pages. It's the most comprehensive. It's the most bold, in our opinion, of all of the candidates on the stage. We are able to address so many different issues. Addressing the website question that you've just posed, the current website, we had no idea when it would be released. We had no idea or kind of hand in creating it, or hand in creating the current official SA website. We were not told when it would happen. We were not told if it would happen during the campaign. Liz and I simply wanted to demonstrate our commitment and our dedication to being able to fill a need that the current student assembly is struggling with. That being said, the current our student assembly website is under construction, and it's under construction for a reason. We wanted to make sure that student voices could look at some of the things we might be lacking on the website and be able to change that.
Yeah, we promised a website. We haven't gotten a website, the Student Assembly website has been strategically launched during campaign season, during election season. I think that's unacceptable, and I think it's unfair to an outsider ticket. The establishment created this website to say, hey, we got it done. But it's funny, they took all the ideas from AJ and I's slogan. Anyways, we want to get the website done. We want to get it done and make it interactive. It's not interactive enough. It's not functional enough. It's not exciting enough. The website will be done within 2 weeks, promise it. And it will offer students the ability. Like I said, AJ and I can't get everything done alone. And this website will serve a tool to give everyone this voice and help us shape a platform that is representative of the entire student body. So we need the website. We are in the internet revolution, and it's time we enter the arena.
To briefly just answer your question, the Student Assembly website that was launched today may not be the most perfect thing in the world. It may not be the flashiest, but it is a start. And there has been an effort throughout the year to get that website up. There have been hurdles that people have had to go through to get things done. And yes, it may have taken longer than it has, but it's happened now. If we continue to dwell on the past, things just will not get done. We have to work with what we have now. We now have a website. We can work to make it more functional. We can work to make it more appealing to students. We can work to make this a sustainable website so that it doesn't evolve, just disappear in a couple years. The website that we have now may not be perfect, but there has been a lot of work put into it. There has been a lot of time spent with many secretaries. There have been a lot of issues that have come up, but we are working to make that better. And if Hannah and I were elected, we would not sit here and dwell on the past. We will work to make that website what the students need. We will work to make it have everything that the students need instead of just sitting here and complaining about what it lacks.
I don't think we should use the inactions of the past and say that it's done and completely be oblivious to how long it's taken. It's taken a tremendous amount of time, and the amount of time it's taken, the product is poor. So we shouldn't say, oh, it's happened now, let's forget about it. We can't forget about it.
All right, we're going to let each candidate make a closing statement. We'll start with you, Justin.
Okay, like I said, AJ and I are the outsider ticket. Being an outsider is not a bad thing. We want to bridge the gap. And I think we should be transparent and say where that money is going to better mental health on campus. $700,000, a lot can be done for that. And I feel that mental health is a serious issue amongst the student body. And it's upsetting that we, as a student assembly, have not done enough. Or, I'm sorry, there have been many very well initiatives, but we can do more. We can always do more. And it's a serious issue amongst the student body, and I feel that the SA should show what money is going towards mental health and how we can better it. And I can't do this alone. I need every single student's voice. So please, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, contact me at contact@CanakisScalia2016.com.
I would like to thank the candidates that are up here on the stage, the Election Commission, all of you for coming out here and attending this debate and to hear our points of views. Hannah and I are fighting and working extremely hard to be advocates for you all, to make sure that William & Mary is more inclusive, to make sure that we can collaborate with student organizations on campus to get things done, and to just make sure that we're fighting to make William & Mary better. All the initiatives that we talked about aren't just Hannah and Eboni initiatives. We want them to be William & Mary initiatives, things that we can continue to have conversations on, things that we can start the conversations on, start to lay the groundwork so that this change is effective and continuous, so that the next 5 years, next 10 years, we can start to see students come to William & Mary and not face issues of not feeling included, to not face issues of gender neutrality, but to have a William & Mary that is right for them and that is working for them. So again, I want to thank you all. I want you all to know that Hannah and I will be on the terrace tomorrow from 11 to 3. If you have any questions, have any concerns, please feel free to contact us. We're all about making sure that you can approach us and talk to us. We're fighting for you all. And again, I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your schedule to be here. Thank you.
I too would like to thank everyone for coming out, and my fellow candidates, who we are all very qualified and very commendable to be able to be standing in front of you today. Liz and I honestly, it's going back to a genuine love of the college and a genuine desire to serve in the best way that we know how. Our comprehensive and bold platform is one that we have the utmost belief in, that's going to be able to affect all corners of campus. It's going to be able to address sustainability initiatives, student health and wellness, academics, an open accountability program. It's going to be able to make sure that all students, their voices are being amplified and raised up, rather than the student assembly being able to take over certain initiatives. We want to further the success, further the recognition of different identities here at the college, and we want to be able to foster a spirit of respect and of celebration of all of the different types of students that we have. We'd like to be able to serve you guys and be able to affect change for maybe not just the next 5 or the 10, but the next 323 years.
All right, that concludes our debate. Let's give the candidates a round of applause. And remember to vote Thursday. You'll get a ballot in your William & Mary email.